So, the Rowans of the world, worth spending any amount of gold on, and as a friend, worth any sacrifice. In 1899, Elbert Hubbard wrote a book called A Message to Garcia. Now, this is not L. Ron Hubbard. That's a different Hubbard who did very different things in the world. But Elbert Hubbard was a guy, he wrote, here's one of his books called, this is one of his series called Little Journeys. And he developed an artist community in, I think, Aurora, New York. And it's still there. And there's museums, and a friend of ours actually is one of the heads of running the foundation. And he had his own printing press. He was effectively, and maybe Elbert Hubbard people won't be a fan of me saying this, but I'm going to say it. He was effectively like the first blogger. Because he had his own printing press, he just wrote nonstop, and he put out all these short stories. And there's this one story that we love here at Wizard Academy. And that story is called A Message to Garcia. Now, you can look it up online. It's only like 3 pages when you read it, but I'm going to give it to you here. So the story is, in the Spanish-American War, this book came out, by the way, in 1899. During the Spanish-American War, they're fighting in Cuba. They're going to land in Cuba. They're trying to get word to a General Garcia, who's somewhere in the mountains of Cuba. And they need to let him know that they're landing. They need to let him know that they're coming. But they have no idea how to reach him, where he is, or if it's even possible to get to him through enemy lines. And someone tells the president, this is McKinley, by the way, someone tells President McKinley, there's a man named Rowan. And if anyone can get a message to Garcia, it's Rowan. So they bring in this dude, his name is Rowan, and they say, hey, we need you to get a message to Garcia. And Rowan says, okay. And he takes the message, he wraps it in oilskin, puts it inside of his shirt pocket, and leaves. That's it. 3 weeks later, he's back after having successfully delivered the letter. Now, that's cool, and we could probably tell the story of all of the different dangerous parts of the journey and how he struggled through enemy lines or went through mountains, but the actual magical part of that story is not the adventurer's tale. It's Rowan and the letter. Now first, let's try some Dunville Irish whiskey. So this is a gift from Brian Lord. Thank you, sir. You're a scholar and a gentleman. Dunville we've done before, but this is the 1808 release. This is from Belfast Distillery, reviving the tradition of Irish whiskey in Belfast. And I mean, I think the 1808 honors the original date of the Dunville brand, which became a really highly sought after Irish whiskey. But now they've revived it. I really liked their PX. They're sourcing everything, almost everything. They're actually distilling as well. And this one is a release they did that was supposed to sort of bring on the historical reference to the old Irish whiskey. But here's the cool thing. It's a blend of pot still, malt, and grain. So all 3 styles of Irish whiskey. And in theory, I can't remember where I read it, but somebody said that the pot still is their stuff. So that's cool. The rest of it is sourced. And there's also supposedly a little bit of peated whiskey in this, which should give you a clue as to maybe where it's being sourced from. So this is the classic sort of Irish lemon peel, citrus, buttercream. There's a little bit more earth than I would normally get out of this, out of just a blend, right? Like Tullamore and the budget Bushmills, budget Jamesons, which are, you know, a mix of different things. This has a little bit more character in the nose. And it's a little bit more on the earthy side instead of in the pure vanilla cream side. Okay. It drinks way softer than I want it to for the nose. But it does have a little bit of that earthy, phenolic, kind of latent, peaty, smoky note. So that's nice. It's actually reminding me more of a really budget scotch, smoky scotch with just a hint of smoke, you know, like a Chivas or a grouse, you know, where you get just a little dusting of smoke in there. But that super green apple and lemon peel, way more Irish on the nose. Yeah, I would say it's not harsh. It drinks soft. It's pleasant. I like that there's a little bit of a meaty, smoky character to it, but it's definitely a little gentle. I wouldn't quite say boring, but it's a little soft. But hey, in the price range and for what it is, heck yeah. And hopefully we'll get to see more of what they're doing with their stuff. So, all right. So the letter in Rowan. This is what's magical about this. And Hubbard writes this, and I'm going to quote him. He says, "The point I wish to make is this, that when McKinley gave Rowan a letter to be delivered to Garcia, Rowan took the letter and did not ask, 'Where is he at?'" That's it. Rowan didn't say, "Well, how do I get there?" Or "What if I can't find him?" Or "I don't really know where he is. Do you guys know where he is?" He didn't ask any questions. He just said, "Oh, you need something done? Hand it to me." And then he left, and he figured it out. And right now, as an employer, and even just as a friend, I'll tell you, one of the things I'm always looking for in a human being, in the whiskey marketing school and the Psalm school, it's no different. All I'm ever looking for in a human being is someone who will step up and say, "I've got this," and will just run with it. Just take it. And when they hit hurdles, they figure them out, instead of waiting to move until they have all their questions answered, waiting to make the first step until they're sure of the 10th step. And when you're doing cutting edge front new things, you don't have the luxury of knowing what the 10th step is. And so you don't get, if you're in a stable company that's 100 years old, or you're in an environment that we've all been in before, then yeah, we can tell you, here's the 30 steps, you're on step 5, here's what it's going to look like for the next 25 steps. But when we're doing new things and interesting things and adventures, most of us have no idea what step 10 looks like. All we can tell you is what step 1 seems to look like and what we think we might be doing somewhere between step 3 and 5. But usually somewhere around 2, 3, 4, you learn that you were sort of stepping the wrong direction and it's time to change gears. And that's something you can only know when you're doing things. And so, yes, is school great? Yes. And teaching, I mean, we are a school and we teach, and I love education, and I am a teacher down to my bones. But there's no amount of education that can replace someone who will just do the damn thing. And so, here's to those who just do the damn thing. Cheers to you. I'm really glad you're here.